OneNote. And in the first problem, we have a graph with the amplitude of 3. And we know it's going to go down because of the sine function. And we know this is a left pi over 4 shift. And we know that the period is 2 pi because b is equal to 1. This is b right here, and it's equal to 1. So I'm going to start my table at negative pi over 4. And I have my x and my y. I'm going to start it at negative pi over 4. And I'm going to add 2 pi to end it at 7 pi over 4. And in between those values, I have I'm going pi over 2 to positive pi over 4 here. And then I'm going pi over 2 to 3 pi over 4 here, and 5 pi over 4 here. And my outputs are going to be 0 here, here, and here. It's the sine function. There's no vertical shift, no up and down shift. And at pi over 4, we're going to have negative 3, and at positive pi over 4, or 5 pi over 4 right here, we will have positive 3. So we need to get our tick marks on the graph. So I'm going to do 2 pi here. Try to get halfway here. And I will get same distance here. Maybe a little bit over. Space it out equally. And 2 pi here on the negative side. So negative pi here and positive pi here. Here we have pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, and on the other side is negative pi over 2, negative 3 pi over 2. Now this graph is going to start right here at negative pi over 4 in between, and at positive pi over 4 right here, it's going to be at negative 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3 up here. So halfway in between, it's going to be negative 3. And at 3 pi over 4, it's going to be 0. And at 5 pi over 4, it's going to be positive 3, which is right here. And at 7 pi over 4, it's going to be 0 there. So this is one period. The curve looks like this. And the next period is going to be at negative 3 pi over 4, it will be 3 right up here. And at negative 5 pi over 4, it will be 0. And here at negative 7 pi over 4, it will be negative 3. And at negative 9 pi over 4, it will be 0 again. So we will create another curve like that. Everything is shifted over to the left. Pi over 4. Number 2 is equation 2 sine x equals 1 is the first step. Sine of x is equal to 1/2. And that happens at pi over 3. Right, this is 1. Does it happen at pi over 3? I guess I'm wondering. 1, 2, root 3. Nope. Does it happen at pi over 6? I bet it does. So here's pi over 6. So the model is 1, 2, root 3. Now x is equal to pi over 6. It's also positive here. At 5 pi over 6. 5 pi over 6. So x is also equal to 5 pi over 6. The sign is positive. Oops, let me undo that. I meant to highlight it. The sign is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. So the two angles are 5 pi over 6 and pi over 6. Now this happens every 2 pi. So pi over 6 plus 2 pi n, and 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n are the solutions to that equation. Because it happens every time it goes around. This is the cosine sum formula, so it's cosine 60 times cosine 315 minus, because the signs change, sine 60 cosine sine 315. So we need to find these values. So let's make a 60-degree angle here. That's my 60. And this is 1, 2, root 3. And let's make a 315-degree angle, which is right here. Now this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So this is 1, 1, square root of 2. So this is a negative 1 though, so I need to be careful. Cosine of 60 is a half times cosine of 315, which is 1 over root 2, minus the sine of 60, which is, sine of 60 you can see is the square root of 3 over 2. That's square root of 3. Got my numbers turned around there. Square root of 3 over 2 times the sine of 315, which is negative 1 over root 2. So simplifying that, I have 1 plus root 3 over 2 root 2. You could rationalize the denominator, but I'm not going to. Number 4 is two angles u, and the other angle, two angles. One angle is u, and one angle is v. So then this angle u is going to be in quadrant 2, and I'll label that angle u. This is 7 over 25, so 7 over 25, this is 24, and this is going to be v, which is in quadrant 2, so it's negative 12 over 13, and then this is 5. So sine of u plus v is equal to the sine of u, which is 7 over 25, times the cosine of v, which is negative 12 over 13, plus the sine of v, which is 5 over 13, times the cosine of u, which is negative 24 over 25, negative 24 over 25. So we have negative 94 plus negative, oh boy, I better get my calculator out here for this one. Let's see, it's the handy dandy iPhone calculator here. So that's all I really need. Calculator here. 5 times negative 24. 24 is negative 120. 120. And this is all over 25 times 13. Yay. 325. Didn't mean to do that. 325. Okay. So 94 plus 120. So it's negative 215 over 325. Now if I divide both sides by 5, I get 43 in the numerator. 325 divided by 5. And 65 in the denominator, and I think that's negative. Or check my